The intersection of classic children's literature and iconic animated media presents a fascinating study in mid to late 20th century storytelling. Two of the most enduring properties in this realm are the Railway series, popularly known through its television adaptation, Thomas the Tank Engine Friends, and Kiki's Delivery Service, Majo no Takakabin. While originating from different cultural landscape as opposed to Great Britain and late Ring-wa era Japan, both franchises share profound thematic parallels, focusing on the transition into industrious responsibility, the psychological weight of utility and usefulness, and the navigation of semi-industrialized, nostalgic landscapes. According to www.iask.ai, Historical and Literary Origins, the origins of Thomas the Tank Engine lie in the oral storytelling of the relevant Wilbert Awdry. In 1942, while his son Christopher was bedridden with measles, Awdry constructed whimsical tales about anthropomorphic steam engines operating on a fictional railway system. These stories were compiled and published in 1945 as The Three Railway Engines, followed by Thomas the Tank Engine in 1946. Awdry's fictional island of Sodor served as a meticulously mapped, geographically logical sanctuary where steam technology remained dominant, insulated from the rapid modernization and dieselization occurring on British railways. The literary foundation of Sodor is deeply rooted in mid-century British ecclesiastical values, industrial pride, and a strict social hierarchy overseen by the paternalistic figure of the Fat Controller, Sir Topham Hatt. Conversely, Kiki's Delivery Service began as a 1985 children's fantasy novel written by Eiko Kitano and illustrated by Akiko Hayashi. Kitano's novel presents a gentle, episodic coming-of-age narrative centered on Kiki, a 13-year-old witch who must spend a year living independently in a new town to complete her training. The novel was famously adapted into a landmark anime feature film in 1989 by director Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli. Miyazaki's adaptation shifted the narrative focus, grounding Kiki's magical flight in a highly detailed, hand-drawn European-inspired coastal city called Kaoriko. Rather than focusing purely on magical whimsy, Miyazaki recontextualized Kiki's journey as an exploration of artistic burnout, independence, and the vulnerability of youth in a rapidly changing, semi-modernized world. Thematic parallels, the concept of usefulness and labor. At the heart of both Thomas the Tank Engine and Kiki's Delivery Service is an intense preoccupation with labor, duty, and societal integration. In Awdry's Railway series, the ultimate moral achievement for any locomotive is to be deemed a really useful engine. This concept functions as both a psychological drive and a social contract. Within the capitalist industrial framework of Sodor, an engine's self-worth is directly tied to its productivity, mechanical reliability, and obedience to the railway's schedule. Engines who exhibit vanity, laziness, or rebellion, such as James showing off his red paint or Henry refusing to run in the rain, are swiftly disciplined, sometimes through literal confinement. For example, bricking Henry up in a tunnel. The narrative arc of a typical Thomas story involves an engine making a mistake due to hubris, suffering a mechanical or operational mishap, and subsequently redeeming itself through hard work to regain the title of really useful. In Kiki's Delivery Service, Kiki faces a parallel existential crisis regarding her utility. Upon arriving in the bustling port city of Kaoriko, she realizes her only marketable magical skill is flying on a broomstick. To survive economically and establish her identity, she monetizes this skill by founding a flying delivery service based out of a local bakery. Kiki's magical flight, greater than, monetized labor, delivery service, greater than, integration into Kaoriko's economy. Unlike traditional fairy tales where magic is an effortless, divine gift, Miyazaki treats Kiki's magic as a craft akin to manual labor or artistic expression. When Kiki suffers from a severe bout of self-doubt and depression triggered by social alienation and the exhaustion of her routine, she experiences a psychological block. She loses her ability to fly and can no longer converse with her black cat, Gigi. This loss of flight is structurally identical to a steam engine suffering a mechanical breakdown or being shut eyes in a shed. Kiki's magic is not restored by a magical incantation, but through rest, self-reflection, and a rekindled sense of intrinsic purpose, culminating in her heroic rescue of her friend Tombo from a runaway dirigible. Nostalgia, technology, and landscape. Both works are celebrated for their rich, nostalgic world-building, which serves as a romanticized critique of contemporary modernization. The Island of Sodor is an idealized, pastoral vision of Great Britain. Audrey, a passionate railway preservationist, designed Sodor as a living museum where steam engines are spared the scrap heap. The landscape is a harmonious blend of rolling green hills, stone bridges, and bustling market towns. The technology is tactile, heavy, and mechanical. The engines require coal, water, and human crews, drivers and firemen, to function, emphasizing a symbiotic relationship between humanity and machinery. Miyazaki's Call Rico in Kiki's delivery service is a similarly idealized, nostalgic construct. Miyazaki described the setting as an alternate history Europe where World War II never occurred. The city combines elements of Stockholm, Visby, Lisbon, and San Francisco, featuring cobblestone streets, red-tiled roofs, mid-century automobiles, and black-and-white televisions. It is a world caught between a rasa where traditional baking and hand-woven crafts coexist with propeller planes and massive dirigibles. Kiki's traditional, handcrafted broomstick flight stands in stark contrast to the mechanical, gasoline-driven flying machines pursued by Tombo and his aviation club. Yet, rather than presenting technology as an enemy, both Audrey and Miyazaki advocate for a harmonious balance where traditional crafts, human-scale labor, and mechanical innovation enrich human community. Narrative structure and character growth. The narrative structures of both properties reflect their respective mediums and target audiences, yet they share a common trajectory of maturation. Feature Thomas the Tank Engine, the Railway Series, Kiki's Delivery Service, Miyazaki Film, protagonist anthropomorphic steam locomotive, Thomas, 13-year-old witch in training, Kiki, primary goal to be a really useful engine and run a branch line. To complete a year of independent training and find her identity. Inciting event receiving his own branch line after proving his worth. Leaving her family home on the night of a full moon. The crisis mechanical failure, derailment, or social disgrace. Loss of magical flight and communication with Gigi. Resolution, redemption through labor, restoration of order by the Fat Controller. Regaining flight through intrinsic motivation saving Tombo. Thomas's character arc is cyclical and episodic. He is depicted as cheeky, impatient, and occasionally overconfident, while he matures over the course of the series, earning his own branch line as a reward for rescuing James. He remains prone to youthful errors, reflecting the target audience's ongoing learning experiences with rules and social boundaries. Kiki's journey is a linear, psychological coming-of-age story, a Bildungsroman. Her transition from a confident young girl leaving home to an anxious teenager facing the realities of independence is marked by deep emotional vulnerability. Her relationship with the painter Ursula serves as a crucial sounding board. Ursula helps Kiki understand that her magical block is a natural phase of creative and personal growth, comparable to writer's block. By the end of the film, although Kiki successfully rescues Tombo and integrates into the community of Call Rico, her connection with Gigi is never fully restored to what it once was. She can no longer hear him speak in human tongue. This poignant detail signifies that growing up involves irreversible changes and the bittersweet loss of childhood innocence. Cultural legacy and adaptations. Both franchises have achieved monumental global success, transitioning from local literary works to international multimedia empires. The Railway series was adapted into the stop-motion model animation series Thomas Friends in 1984 by Britt Allcroft, featuring a memorable theme tune and narration by Ringo Starr. The television series expanded the franchise into a multi-billion-dollar toy and merchandising phenomenon, capturing the imaginations of children worldwide through wooden, die-cast, and motorized train sets. Kiki's Delivery Service remains one of Studio Ghibli's most beloved and commercially successful films. It solidified Ghibli's financial stability in the late 1980s and established Miyazaki as a master of nuanced, female-led animated cinema. The film continues to be celebrated globally, receiving a prestigious 4K remaster and theatrical re-releases in IMAX formats to showcase its breathtaking, hand-drawn animation. Ultimately, whether riding the rails of Sodor or flying over the rooftops of Cal Rico, both Thomas and Kiki teach audiences timeless lessons about the dignity of work, the resilience required to overcome personal setbacks, and the profound beauty of finding one's place in the world.